The fork as a decorative object. The big decorative wooden fork and spoon hanging on a kitchen wall shift the object entirely into the symbolic and aesthetic realm. It no longer functions in the physical sense. It becomes representational. This example drives home how form remains, but function, material use, and purpose all transform, often radically. Let's look at the embodied form. Here, the form is often exaggerated, with oversized prongs, carved handles, ornate flourishes. It is recognizably still a fork, but its scale and position, hung vertically, often as a pair with a spoon, signal non-use. Form here is felt visually and spatially. It becomes a symbol, evoking familiarity and tradition. The body uses it as a decorative element and not as an artifact to be used in food access or management. We can look at the embodied material. It's usually wood, often hand-carved and chosen for its aesthetic warmth and symbolic association with homeliness, tradition, or rustic life. It's not chosen for functional properties. Again, there's no concern for heat resistance or food safety. The material is encountered through the surface, grains, finishes, and visual texture, not through touch and action. As for the embodied purpose, the purpose is symbolic and decorative, to evoke feelings of hospitality, domestic warmth, family, culture. Sometimes they carry cultural or even nostalgic meanings. For example, oh, my grandmother had one just like that. The intent is to anchor a mood or identity in the space, not to serve food. The embodied function, well, here the function is representation. It functions like a visual metaphor for nourishment, abundance, or tradition. It may also function socially. In other words, it might communicate a message to guests, often without being consciously noticed. The body doesn't act through it, but around it. It functions by shaping the felt atmosphere of the room. And we can look at the embodied affordances. This suggests possibilities not for physical action, but for interpretation, memory, or cultural signaling. It may inspire conversation or storytelling. In some homes, it opens the affordance of being part of ritual, for example, decorating around holidays, or the kitchen as a gathering place. The affordances now live in imagination and association, not in physical manipulation. What's the contextual insight here? Well, this version is striking. Same form, but fully different modality of being. Here the fork has no instrumental function beyond the aesthetic and social one. It's an object of atmosphere, not of action. This example shows that understanding isn't just about physical use, but about the way something lives in a space, a culture, and a body's perception of meaning.